Hey, good evening, everyone, and welcome to this episode of the Better Together Facebook Live. My name is Barb Bruce, and I am your host. And here on the Better Together Facebook Live show, this is where we talk about all of the things, your hopes, your dreams, your worries, and even your waistlines. And it doesn't matter where you come from or what you've been through. Here on the Better Together Facebook Live is where we find the hope, the help, as well as the practical next steps so that we can all get better together. And for me, I love the Better Together Facebook Live because my passion is to help you live beautifully, strong, and courageous in spite of whatever it is you may be afraid of today, because I want you to experience God's great adventure of faith and purpose for your life. And sometimes when we are looking at uncertain circumstances, sometimes when we're having a hard time and life is rough, we just have to laugh. And so tonight I have a friend of mine that I met a number of years ago at a conference. I have loved following her online. We're going to have a great discussion about how to find the funny in the pandemic. And so I'm going to introduce her to you in just a bit. And if you're joining this evening, jump in the chat and say hello. Let me know who you are. Tell me where you're coming from, just what state you're in this evening, but say hi in the chat. And throughout the Facebook Live show, there will be places where I'll be asking you questions. We want you to join our conversation and be a part of what we're talking about today. Before we get started, I am excited because we are now towards the end of August, and just a few weeks, I've got something fun and exciting coming up because I have a new book coming out here. It's titled Surrendered. I should keep it up there. Surrendered, 40 Days to Help You Let Go and Live Like Jesus. And I wrote this book during the pandemic because there are times in life when we can't control anything, like a global pandemic. But maybe it's not the pandemic that you've been struggling with control. Maybe you have had a situation that's been stressing you out during the day, keeping you sleepless at night, a situation in your family or your finances or on your job. And so this Surrender devotional, this contains these brief readings. It'll take you less than 4 minutes each day, but you will come away with hope, help. It'll point you to Jesus, as well as some great practical tools that you can use to help you let go of what you can't control so that you can leave space for God to come in and take care of you in your circumstances. So I wanted to share this with you. This comes out on September 15th, and you can see there in the scrolling across the screen, you can get it now. My publisher actually has it on special at cooksberry.com. And so I'm super excited about it because, again, the pandemic's been long and hard, but there is hope. And I want to make sure that you've got hope, a little bit of hope to start your day. So that's there. And for those of you who are jumping in on the chat, thank you for saying hi. We've got Becky. She is saying hi from Beulahville, North Carolina. Becky, thank you for joining us. Well, and like I said, this evening, our topic is finding the funny in the pandemic. And so I am excited to introduce today's guest to you. And so here is a picture of her beautiful face. Tonight, I am joined by my friend Rhonda Corey, and she is an award-winning comedian who has performed on stages from Rhode Island to California. She is the creator of the Blue Comedy. It's just a 100% clean comedy show. She's also the co-founder of Take Two Ministries and a producer of the new live stream sensation, Talk is Cheap. I love the show. In 2018, Rhonda won the Clean Comedy Challenge. It was a national competition that was held in Chicago. And Rhonda can be seen at conferences, clubs, churches, corporate events, and most importantly, at the sales rack at Macy's. And so, friends, please join me in welcoming my friend, Rhonda Corey. Hey, Rhonda.
Hey, Barb. It's so good
How are
to
you doing?
see you.
I am so happy that you are here. It's been a couple of years since we've seen each other face to face, but your hair has always captured my attention, honey. How has your hair stayed so beautiful during the pandemic?
Okay, well, there was some problems with my hair during the pandemic, and I'll start off by telling you that right away. I had like this much gray. Well, mixed. I'm not all gray. There's a lot of it. And so I found myself using a certain can to spray my roots and Rust-Oleum. I don't know if you've, yes. I started shopping at Home Depot for my hair care products. But anyway, no, it's okay. It's all right. But now, thank goodness, my hairstylist, the salon's open, and so we're back to, this. Although this is not behaving today. This little piece is giving me a hard time, but that's all right. That's all right.
You're like this one little piece right here.
There's always that one little piece. It's like, no, I'm not doing that today. I want to go the other way. And I'm like, well, I'm going to be on Barb's show, Better Together. And I think this would be better together if it was curling the right way, but whatever.
I love it. Well, this evening, we're going to talk about Better Together, whether our hair comes along tonight or not. But tonight we're going to talk about finding funny in the pandemic, because we've been through so much over these last 8 months, and you have such a brilliant observational mind. And so we're going to talk about what finding funny looks like. But before we get started, I wanted to know, would you play a quick game with me? An audience, go ahead.
Games. I love games.
You love games.
I love games. So
good.
Yeah.
An audience, if you are listening, you can play games as well. I love Michelle. She loved your Rust-Oleum comment. Yeah, none of us saw that coming. That was amazing. So, Rhonda, the game that we're going to play is called What Do You Think of First?
Okay.
And so, audience, I'm going to give Rhonda a series of words. And there's a little bit of a time delay, audience, from the time that Rhonda is going to answer to you answer, but that's okay. But when I give her these words, she's going to tell me the first thing that comes to mind when she sees these words. And audience, I want to hear from you too. So when you see these words, type in the chat, what's the first thing that comes to mind? So Rhonda, are you ready?
I am so ready.
All right. So the first thing that comes to mind, here's your first word. Toilet paper.
Hoarding. I became a hoarder. Okay.
Really? How much toilet paper did you hoard?
Well, no, I just started to buy it, Barb, because I needed toilet paper, and I don't see. All right, I don't know how much you want to get into this, but see, my husband is he doesn't think that things should be on the shelf. Like, he works in a restaurant and he says that's money on the shelf. He doesn't believe in inventory. I'm a believer in inventory. Okay, so you don't run out of things. So you know what? The pandemic helped to bring him around a little bit to that. Now we have some toilet paper on our shelves. That's all I'm saying. Hoarding, maybe not, but let's just say backups.
I love it. And I love the fact you're like, he doesn't believe in inventory, but I believe in inventory. Oh, goodness. So Michelle, she said the first word that she thought of was useful.
It is quite useful, Michelle.
Absolutely. All right. So audience, again, we're playing the game with Rhonda. What's the first thing that comes to mind? So audience, you chime in as well. Rhonda, are you ready for word number 2?
Ready.
First thing that comes to mind.
Ready. I'm so ready. Oh, a little piece of heaven is what I'm thinking right now. Heaven. All right, we'll say heaven, but it's a little piece of heaven. Costco. I love Costco. I mean, really, like, you walk in there and it's just a happy place. There's big reams of, like, you know what I mean? You're not getting these little wimpy little things no, there's like big things of toilet paper, brownies, the size of you. Like, I like that. I like big things, I think good things come in big packages. I don't know.
Yes. Now, did you make the run to Costco before the stay-at-home began?
Did I make? No, I don't think when I went, they didn't have anything. By the time I went, they didn't have, no, yeah, I didn't. Yes, I know. Target, though. I found that Target brands are not so bad, but I'm still into brand names. Do you like brand names? Like, I like Bounty. I am a Bounty.
Honey, I'm equal opportunity. Like, it needs to get the job done. And so let's see. So let's see. Marcy, when we said Costco, she said yum. So probably the brownies. Lisa Marie said cake.
Oh, I love this girl. Love Lisa Marie.
And then Michelle said bulk, need it all.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Well, then let's do one more. So first thing that comes to mind, let's do
StreamYard. Because I like StreamYard better than Zoom. I'm sorry. I'm a StreamYard girl. But
me too. Well, then we'll move on from that one and move on to, maybe this could be a little personal, so my apologies. But first thing that comes to mind.
1 month. I think I was in pajama pants probably for a month. Yeah, I was in, a month.
Did you seriously, did you get into the pajama pants and then not get out of them like the rest of us?
Okay, so here's the thing. So honestly, like the first, I don't know, I think I did like my last show the second week of March, and then I got deathly sick. And I did not have the coronavirus. I did not have the virus. But I got really sick. I was down for 2 weeks. I saw like every show on Netflix, Hulu, like everything. I saw them all. And I was in pajamas for a while. Yeah, But I actually went and had the test done to see if I had the antibodies, because I was like, of course I had the coronavirus. No, I didn't. I had some kind of flu. So anyway.
You know what? See, in some ways you go, was I robbed? Was I robbed? And so,
I wanted the antibodies so I could like travel, and then I'd feel like Superwoman.
Absolutely. So we've got, we have Zoom. Michelle said a children's TV show, but when we said pajama pants, Marcy said leggings, and Michelle naps required, and Lisa Marie comfy. So they are all dialing right in with us. Well, we want to talk about just the finding funny in the pandemic. And especially for most of the audience are women who are Christian, women who love Jesus. Yep. And there are a lot of serious things that have happened in our world. But when we talk about finding funny in the pandemic, Rhonda, what has that meant for you? What is that? How do we even find funny in these hard times?
Okay, so here's the thing. There's nothing funny about the virus, right? It's not a funny thing. It's a serious thing. But the funny is just being locked up in your house with the people that live here. And usually these people, they don't spend as much time with you as they are spending now. Do you know what I'm saying? You're seeing them a lot more, and they don't leave like they should. Do you know what I'm saying? So you have to find funny somewhere. And there's funny all over. I mean, there's just funny anywhere that there's others, really. And I do like the stupidest things myself. You know what I'm saying? Like I was talking about spraying my hair with it was a L'Oreal spray. But I mean, I had like it looked like a little helmet with it. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't very good at it at first. So let's just
not to interrupt. So how long into the pandemic did you go before you decided that you had to do something about your hair? Like what kind of DEF CON are we talking here?
Oh, because it was not good. And now you're doing stuff on Zoom and StreamYard, and here's the thing. I'm like, I got to do something with this. I need to go back to my natural color. So my hairstylist told me about, the L'Oreal stuff that you can spray, and I was very good at it. I created I created like a little bang. I don't know. So I had to wipe that off. But, no, but there's funny. I mean, you just have to laugh at those things. You have to find the funny in the people. I mean, because there's people on both ends, right? There's people that are like, they're in like hazmat suits, and then there's the people like, I'm not afraid of this. You know what I mean? Like, go ahead. You know what I mean? So it's just, there's people on both ends of this, both extremes. You just have to find the funny in that, because there's people at the grocery store that are inching up on you that you're like, and then there's, and then there's the people that they're acting like you are the virus, So, I mean, there's funny everywhere. You just have to look for it. And I mean, there's funny videos out there. Like, if you are looking for funny, there's all kinds of different ways to find it,
Well, yeah. And so speaking of that, for me, one of the coping mechanisms for me during the pandemic has been the funny memes that have been out there. And so I asked the ladies in the audience to share funny memories or things that have been fun from during the pandemic. And Michelle says, funny stuff, posing with her college kids homeschooling. Oh, Michelle, that's precious. Thank you. But memes have been really just a godsend. And so I found some that I just, when I pull them up, they represent some of the different stages that we've been through in the pandemic. Yeah. And so I want you to just tell us about in those different stages, what were some of the funny things for you that you were like, you know what, I can see where there's some laughter in this. And so the very first one, if we start at the top, right at the beginning of the pandemic, we did not know that it was coming. And so on New Year's, what were you thinking on New Year's?
Okay, so I actually did a little meme on this one myself, because it was like me, New Year's Day. Oh, you know what? 2020 is my year. And then you see me in March. 2021 is going to be my year, or April. Because really, like, things were going great for me. Like, things were really picking up, and there was like momentum building, and I had all these shows booked, and I was so excited. I was going to get to work with different people, and so I was pumped. And then and then it was like, no, you're not. We're canceling everything that you have on your books. So I'm sorry, but there will be no 2020. It's going to be a great year for you,
Well, and in the background, I love this picture with Donald Glover, because he's guarding the Lysol and the hand sanitizer. And so all of a sudden, all of these priorities that we had for our lives, all of the priorities changed. And so in the midst of all of those changes for you, how did you keep your sense of humor as you just realized that things were just way out of your control?
Yeah. So, I mean, first of all, I'm very lucky because I have a lot of funny friends. I have a lot of comedian friends. And so that helps a lot to just keep in touch with them. And so, I'm sure we'll talk about it eventually, but that's how I created my online show. And, because I had to keep going. You have to keep going. You can't just, you can't let everything, you just have to shift. So when something like that happens, you have to shift your thinking. Okay, I can't dwell on what I can't, do, because where's that going to get me? So what can I do? What can I do? What are the things I can do now? And so there's a lot. I mean, there were a lot of times I got to spend with my family that I wouldn't have been able to spend with my family, and so that was great. We had a lot of family meals together. My husband did work most of the time. So that was good, because income is a great thing in the house. So that was great. But I mean, like, my son was home all the time. And so, because he was out of work, his work closed down. So we ended up bonding over a lot of things. And he's helped me technically, because I'm not technically savvy. I know it's a surprise, but I'm not. So he helped me that way. And so we bonded over that. So just, I don't know, you just have to shift. You have to shift your thinking.
Yeah. I found that these days online that people are looking for content that is making them laugh.
Yeah.
And so as a comedian who is a Christ follower, how do you balance that tension between, and you're an online content creator, how do you balance the tension between wanting to support people and helping them focus on God, but really also helping them laugh, because we really do need to lean into things that make us smile these days?
Well, I think, here's the thing. Like, God created laughter, number one, right? He wants us to laugh. I don't know why sometimes some Christians, I'm not going to say all, sometimes there are some Christians that think that we shouldn't use humor. And I think that that's ridiculous. We need to use humor as long as it's clean humor. I mean, and it doesn't have to go, it doesn't have to go south to be funny. You know what I'm saying? So, all right. So restate that question again. I went to the beach today, so I think I fried a little bit of my brain cells.
That's okay. Well, that's okay. But I love how you just introduced that idea that God, he created laughter.
Yeah.
I think that there are a lot of Christians that forgot that God created laughter.
Yeah.
And so that actually leads to another question, because in the pandemic, there have been a lot of things that haven't been funny. And so many of us have been struggling with anxiety and feeling disconnected from others and God. And so what's that journey been like for you? Have you felt like you've been able to stay connected to God? Did you feel disconnected? And if so, what was that journey like for you?
Well, so things changed, everything changed. You're not going to church in person anymore, so you're doing church online. And honestly, that's a wonderful thing that we have the technology that we're still able to tune in. But it is not the same as being there with with that whole congregation, when you're sitting on the couch and you're like, hey, I've just got to go to the bathroom for a second. I'm going to put the pastor on pause. You know what I'm saying? Or, you know what? Hold on a second. I'm going to go get a snack. I need a little something right now. I'm not used to being able to do that during church, so we're doing these things that we're not, so you are disconnecting at that time. You're in your living room, and that's what you do in your living room. So, so it's hard. You're not around. So you're not fully focused, as you can't be as focused. When I'm in church, when I'm sitting there, I always sit towards the front because I'm a little scattered. And so, instead of going, oh, that's a cute I like her hair, I sit up front. So that way there's not a lot of people that are in front of me. It's good for everybody. That's why I do that. It's not because I'm so good. It's because I need to pay attention and focus. But if I'm at home, that is not helping me. So there's, I try, but
Right.
and even there's people in my house. So my quiet time changed a lot too. I'm like, well, what am I going to do with people in my house now? And so this is something that was really cool that that connected me. I started going, I have trouble sleeping sometimes, so I'll get up really early or whatever. I started getting up and going outside on my deck and just marveling in nature, in the beauty outside, just, the flowers outside, and just listening to the birds. Oh my word. Just watching, the little squirrels and the birds and the bees buzzing around and pollinating, and how they're like, that whole little world out there is just going on. And I just started doing my quiet time out there, and it changed for me. I felt so connected to God because of that. Yeah. So sometimes maybe you just need to switch things up a little bit, so because things are already switched up, so you're going to need to switch things up and find a different way to connect. And that really helped me a lot. It really did.
That is so beautiful. Audience, I love how Rhonda shared her story. And if you're out there, how do you connect with God when you go through tough times spiritually? Please share in the comments, because just as I'm listening to Rhonda, knowing that she has probably inspired some of you to rethink how you connect with God. You may have some comments about some things that you've done. Because, like Rhonda said, the pandemic changed all of our rhythms. All of the ways that we used to do life got flipped upside down. And so we do have to do things differently, and that's okay. There's some great new possibilities. One of the things that I discovered that blessed me, and actually had a spiritual impact on me, was going to the farmer's market. I didn't go to the farmer's market, but every few years before the pandemic. But it became one of the few places where I felt kind of safe and comfortable because it was outside.
Mhm.
And I realized that it's now become like my new way of going to the mall. I only need $20. I can buy a ton of stuff, but it's seeing the produce on the table.
Yeah.
It's seeing the colors of the fruits and the vegetables. It's seeing the harvest, that every single week without fail, I feel a new spiritual lesson that is preached to me just by walking through the farmer's market. It's been a really cool, unexpected blessing.
I get that. I get that. And like, so we had like a little tomato plant. My friend had dropped that off. And we have a pear tree. We don't eat the pears, but we have a pear tree out there. And just watching like how God created, it's just, I was just marveling how, I know it's just so simple and like, yeah, Rhonda, fruit grows on a tree. But I'm like, do you like, food grows on a tree? Like,
Right?
it's like, oh my word. And my herbs, like and it just like, I don't know. I just get so excited. Like all the flowers. I mean, have you ever really looked at the flowers, how they're all different? I don't know. It's just amazing to me. And how anyone can deny that we have a creator is beyond me. I can't understand how you think that could just happen. I mean, it's so intricate, like every single flower. So I don't know. It just gave me a whole new perspective on God, our creator. And, just listening to the little birds singing. And I don't know. I love that verse in Matthew 6, look at the birds, look at the birds. They don't plant or harvest. And it just reminds me of how God is going to provide. He's going to provide. He takes care of us, So that really touched me. I really connected with that this year.
Woo, preach it, honey, preach it. Well, we had a number of ladies jump in the comments. My friend Mary Doran, she watches on streaming on YouTube, and she's grateful for Better Together. So hi, Mary. When you were talking about online church, Michelle said that when it's good time to go back to church, she's going to need to pack a snack bag. You know what? That was real, because we've been able to do anything we've wanted during virtual church. When we talk about reconnecting with God, Becky said that she started keeping a prayer journal and putting her prayers on paper. And so when she struggles, she goes and writes. Woo!
Yeah,
Becky,
that's good.
That's so good. Michelle said that to connect with God, she journals, sits in silence, sometimes worship music, and taking a walk. Lovely. Oh, ladies have lots of great ideas. Elisa Marie at her garden in Bowling Green, she feels connected through nature. And then Becky, she says, I actually read, oh my goodness, she said she read my Surrender Bible study twice.
Awesome.
Thank you, Becky. Well, there is something that I don't want to lose from what you said about reconnecting with God and finding the funny. I love how you pointed out that when you faced having a change in the slowdown, that it gave you time to really observe what God was doing, and how the observing of it opened your heart in gratitude, which led to joy. And that joy made it easier for the funny to flow. And so I think that you've done such a beautiful job of making that connection for all of us, that we need to find the funny in the pandemic. But it begins with slowing down and seeing that God is good and that He provides. And when we have that confidence, then we can laugh and smile even in these hard times. So Rhonda, is there any kind of closing encouragement that you would like to share with the ladies before we go?
Well, I think that you definitely, I think that a lot of the ladies here are connecting with God. You need to stay connected. But when things get really tough during your day, take that time to step back and do something that makes you laugh. Whether it be looking at funny memes, whether it be funny videos, whether it be tuning into my show that's on Thursdays and Sunday nights called Talk is Cheap. It's a live stream show, Rhonda Corey comedy page. Whatever.
It's there on the screen, ladies. Yep, it's there on the screen.
Whatever it is, though, just find that. Maybe it's a girlfriend. Just take a 5-minute break and just either maybe FaceTime her. If you need to do that, because that way, that helps you to connect. But just take that time, step back, and make sure you take the time to laugh, because it's really important that you do that. It'll help you. It helps your whole family.
Amen. Oh, that's beautiful. Well, ladies, tonight my guest has been the fabulous Rhonda Corey. Her social information is there on the screen. Her Talk is Cheap show is on Facebook Live, and you can connect with her on Facebook at Rhonda Corey Comedy. And Rhonda, again, what nights are the Talk is Cheap show?
Okay, so it's on Thursday nights at 7:30 Eastern, and right now it's going to change in September, but right now it's on at 8 o'clock on Sunday nights Eastern Standard.
Beautiful. So friends, go over and check Rhonda out. I am so grateful that Rhonda joined us this evening on the Better Together Facebook Live. Ladies, thank you for joining in, sharing your comments, being a part of the conversation. If you love this episode, you can share it from my author page on Facebook, share it with your friends, and you can watch past episodes of the Better Together Facebook Live show at barbruce.com on the blog page. We've got all kinds of topics there. But until next time, I hope that you have a great week. I'll see you next Tuesday night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, for Better Together with Barb. Thanks, ladies, and have a great night. Bye-bye.
We're better together.